How to plant an avocado tree. Here's what I see as the four most important steps. First step is checking your drainage. You want to dig a little hole where you're going to plant the tree, and then fill it up with water and see how long it takes for that water to disappear. If it takes more than a handful of hours for that water to disappear, then your drainage is poor and it's not ideal for avocados, and you've got to plant on a mound. You've got to raise the soil to plant in. But if it drains within an hour or two, then your drainage is good and you can plant at grade, at the level of the soil around. So my drainage is good, and I'm gonna plant the tree at about the grade of the soil. But since this is a slightly low-lying area, I'm gonna plant on a slight mound. It's never a bad thing to plant an avocado on a slight mound, even if your drainage is good. So I'm gonna measure the root ball with my shovel and then dig a hole at just under the depth of the root ball level. Okay, so the hole's dug, and you don't need to dig the hole very wide, just a few inches wider than the root ball, so you can get your hands in there to plant it. The third thing is taking the actual tree out of the container, whatever it is. So the tree on the right is the one I'm actually going to plant, and it's in a plastic sleeve, they call it. The tree on the left is the more common tree that you plant. It's in a stiff plastic pot or container. I'll show you how to get both of those kinds of trees out of their containers most easily. First, the one on the left with the stiff container. Notice what I did was I whacked the sides of the container to get the roots off the sides. They kind of stick to the sides usually. And then I sort of dropped the root ball out. I didn't tug on the trunk because I don't want to break the graft union. Actually, that's a seedling. It doesn't have a graft union, but you don't want to break the graft union on a tree. You don't want to tug on the trunk. So I'll do the other one, the sleeve now. The sleeves are a lot easier because you can just take a pair of scissors and cut the sleeve off. Finally, I'm going to lower the tree into the hole, and I'm going to do it really carefully because avocado roots are brittle. So you want to keep the root ball intact, and you want to break as few roots as possible as you put the tree into the hole. I'm going to fill in the hole around the root ball now, and this is really the fourth and final step, which is to water the tree in super well, especially if you're planting in the summer or the fall. The soil around the tree in Southern California is most likely really dry, so you've got to add a lot of water to make sure that the soil around the root ball isn't sucking the moisture out of the root ball as you start watering the tree in its first couple weeks. And so I'm going to run some water as I fill in the dirt around the root ball. And you'll want to not quite fill in you want to leave a little bit of a donut at first so that you can water deeply a few extra times afterward, so you can get that whole area really wet. I'll finish it up and then I'll show you what it looks like at the end. So I need a little more dirt to make a donut or a basin around the tree, so I'm going to use my shovel to scrape from the sides and get a little more dirt on there. Now I can form my basin and complete the watering in, and then finally I'll add a little compost, and I'll talk about staking. You want to water that baby tree in abundantly. Take a break, water again, take a break, water again. Give it plenty of water that first planting day. I'm going to spend the next 15 minutes or so just watering this tree on and off. I'm also going to add some compost in that bucket behind it. And then I'm going to add some mulch, and ultimately I'll restake the tree as well. But I won't bother showing you that stuff. That's sort of that's the after planting steps of getting your young avocado tree off to growing well in the ground.